cool. You're cool. All right. So those of you who are on the radio, you're good, man. You're good. All right. So stick and stay with me right there as we just chip in music right there in the program. And then the news is going to come on right here now on this platform. So thank you for your patience, and thank you for coming back on with us right here on YouTube as well as on Facebook Live on NRP Media JA. All right, so log on. Come back on. Okay, that's where we are. It's going to be happening great here tonight. You came out with a purpose, and purpose cannot die, and the devil can't stop purpose tonight. And therefore, we are saying to the devil that you are defeated. No matter how hard you keep on trying, you are a defeated foe, and God is going to have his way. Stick and stay with me right here on nrpmediaja.com, the news, and on GGFM as well, I should say. The news comes on momentarily. Yes, indeed. The higher place I'll bring down. It's now 7 minutes on to the downside of 10 o'clock right here on your station. Of course, GGFM in Brownstown, St. Anne. That's where you're at right now. And you're listening to Leaon Nash, of course, the great and wonderful program of the Weekenz Gospel Show. The news is up next. So we're going to bring that music. Such a wonderful song to stop, High Place from Myrna Summers. High Place I'll bring down. Let's pause it a little bit though. Time is of the essence, so we're going to be going to our news. Stick and stay with us. So thank you so much for coming back on board and staying with us, and we welcome all the listeners of GGFM and connecting partners. The news is up next. A very pleasant night to you, and welcome now to the late news right here on nrpmediaja.com and on GGFM 90.1 in Brownstown, St. Anne. Leon Nash is my name. Here is the news of the hour. The results from the primary exit profile PEP results is out. The announcement was made today by Education Minister Favour Williams at a press conference in Kingston. Of the 35,292 students who sat the examination, 35,272 were placed in a school at the secondary level. 20 students were not placed in a public school at the secondary level based on their requests. Of the 35,272 students who were placed using the results of the PEP examination, 99% were placed in high schools and less than 1% was placed in a special needs institution. According to the ministry, no student was placed in a primary junior high school, as the junior high school departments of these schools have been phased out. Additionally, 30,778 students, or 87% of the students who sat the PEP examinations, were placed in one of their preferred schools. Since 2015, the ministry has indicated that parents have been given the opportunity to indicate 2 additional school choices to the standard 5 that they had in the past. These 2 additional choices were selected from a cluster of schools that were within a 10-mile radius of students' primary level attending schools. These 2 additional choices are factored in as the 6th and 7th preferred school for placement. Of the total number, 4,078 or 12% of the students were placed in a secondary level institution and that are in proximity to the schools they are currently attending. A further 416 students or 1% were placed manually in secondary level institutions. Factors taken into consideration for manual placement included proximity of secondary school to the home address the students submitted and whether or not students are path beneficiaries. As the results are released, the ministry underscored that the Ministry of Education continues to employ strategies to increase the quality of secondary school places. The minister, in the statement today, reminded that 100% of schools are now a school of choice, in that students are now selecting a variety of schools as their preferred school for placement, even though there is still a high demand for the traditional high school institutions. Meanwhile, the minister informed that for this year, 6,813 students who are path beneficiaries at the PEP 2022 examination. Of this number, 3,423 were boys and 3,390 were girls. 6,164 or 90% were placed by preference or choice, and 562 or 9% of the students were placed by proximity. Also, 87 or 1% were manually placed, and this shows that a significant number of path beneficiaries are getting their preferred school of choice. The government has announced that it will be spending an additional $2.7 billion to provide targeted support to Jamaicans who are most adversely affected by the high cost of living. This totals $3.8 billion in social intervention expenditure, of which $1.1 billion is already accounted for in the 2022-2023 budget. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Nigel Clark, made the announcement in the House of Representatives this week. He informed that $750 million has been allocated for independence cleanup of parish capitals, major town centers, of which $550 million will be allocated to the National Solid Waste Management Authority and $189 million through members of Parliament via the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Dr. Clark says that the amounts allocated via the Constituency Development Fund can be used for beautification, bushing, and drain cleaning, and for activities related to Jamaica 60. You're listening to news on NRPMediaJA.com. It's now 30 minutes on the downside of 10 o'clock. A total of $150 million has been allocated for the trucking of water to areas experiencing water challenge due to the erratic nature of rainfall island-wide. Dr. Clark says that the main focus will be on the parishes of St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, and Portland, but not limited to these parishes alone. He told the lower house that this will be facilitated through the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development, MLGCD. The Finance and Public Service Minister further noted that $550 million has been provided in general welfare support for non-program for advancement through health and education path beneficiaries. In other news, 32-year-old Ramdal Reed, otherwise called Theo, and Pecos, who was featured as wanted on Friday, July 1 on the Jamaica Constabulary Force's social media platforms, has been charged with murder. Pecos was named a suspect in the killing of Darren Gale, which occurred at a wake in Anko District, Whithorn in Westmoreland on Friday, June 24. Witnesses' statements collected named Pecos, who is also from Anko District, as the person who killed Gale. He turned himself in to the police on Sunday, July 3, and the warrant was executed on him on Monday, July 4. His court date is being arranged. Meanwhile, a man has been charged in connection with the May 28 shooting at Red Dirt in Duncan's, Trelawney, that claimed the lives of 2 persons and left 2 others nursing gunshot wounds. Dead are 28-year-old Jason Trail, unemployed, and Andre Dennis, a 26-year-old, also unemployed, both of Red Dirt Duncan's in Trelawney. Stevie Dunn, otherwise called Clarence, 34-year-old unemployed of Duncan's in Trelawney, has been charged with 2 counts of murder and wounding with intent after he turned himself in to the police on Wednesday this week. Reports from the Major Investigation Division are that at about 7:53 p.m., Trail, Dennis, and the 2 other men were at a mechanic shop in Red Dirt when a Toyota Voxy motorcar drove up, and 4 men, including Dunn, who were dressed in army fatigue, alighted with handguns. The gunmen opened gunfire at the group, and all 4 men were transported to hospital, where Trail and Dennis were pronounced dead. The 2 other injured men were admitted for treatment. Dunn was charged on Thursday, July 7, after a question and answer session with a detective. And we move now to sports right here on this newscast on the Weekenz Gospel Show. Top spot in Group A of the CONCACAF Women's Championship is up for grabs this evening. But for Jamaica's Reggae Girls, this may be a true bridge too far. Or this may be a bridge too far. The Reggae Girls will go up against the world's #1 team in the United States at the BBVA Stadium in Monterrey, Mexico, and that game went on at 6 o'clock this evening. We should have that result for you come tomorrow. The other Group A game will pit Mexico and Haiti, who both lost their opening encounters to Jamaica and the U.S. respectively. That game takes place at 9 p.m. and should be just about at this point on the way or close to being complete. And this is happening at the stadium. While the Reggae Girls are buoyed by the fact that they beat Mexico for the first time in their history, the U.S., the reigning world champions, had a more impressive first outing. Jamaica won the game against Mexico 1-0, but truth be told, could just easily have lost that encounter. And finally, on football, Sepp Blatter and Michael Platini were acquitted on charge of defrauding FIFA by a Swiss criminal court on Friday, a rare positive outcome for the pair, who were among soccer's most powerful figures before being embroiled in corruption investigations. The case was centered around a $2 million payment from the FIFA to Platini with Blatter's approval in 2011 for work done a decade earlier. The verdict followed an 11-day trial last month at the Federal Criminal Court of Switzerland in Bellinzona. First of all, I have to say that I'm a very happy man, the 86-year-old Blatter told reporters on the court steps. He continued to say that I am a happy man because I also have to express thanks to the court today, to this city for people in the court, the way they have analyzed the situation, and they have explained why both of us haven't done anything. And now let's take a look at the weather report as supplied by the National Meteorological Service. It says that there is a significant feature of a low-level jet stream across the Central Caribbean. The low-level jet stream is expected to remain across the region through to tomorrow. Additionally, a Saharan air layer is expected to move across the region throughout the weekend. In our 24-hour forecast tonight, expect mainly fair conditions across the island, windy along the south coast. Tomorrow morning and into the afternoon, expect fair to hazy and windy conditions across the island. In our 3-day forecast starting tomorrow, that's the Sunday through to Monday, mainly fair and hazy on Sunday, and on Monday, mainly sunny in the morning and afternoon showers and isolated thunderstorms across western parishes and hilly areas. On Tuesday, partly cloudy and windy. And other current regional weather features at this time: a tropical wave across the eastern Caribbean. There is also a Saharan air layer across the Caribbean basin and a high pressure ridge across the northern Caribbean. That's our news, local news, sports and weather report. We ask that you stand by for our international news coming to you from the Voice of America right here on this station. It is now 20 minutes on the downside of 10 o'clock. We're going to forego the international news for this time due to some unavailability in terms of the audio. So we're going to be moving along. And we just want to say thanks to you for keeping it locked right here on this station. Indeed, you matter. And we thank you so much for choosing to be part of this great show. Without you, then we would not be here. We would be talking, yes, but to whom would we be talking? So we are grateful for you being here. My name is Leon Nash, for those of you who are just joining me. It is a night that we're going to have a great time. We have an interview coming up with a great gospel artist, and he's going to be talking to us about how it is that gospel artists can write, can sing, can position themselves so that they can help in this fight against crime and violence. And, generally speaking, domestic violence as well, because we find out that a lot of that is happening in our country and that people are just taking it out on one another. How is it that gospel artists can help in this fight? We're going to come back to you and talk about that in just a moment. Welcome for those of you who are on GGFM right now. Remember the number for you to call whenever we need you. Whenever we open the phone line is 876-336-9928. That's 876-336-9928. Stick and stay.
NRP radio listeners, hey, welcome to NRPMediaJA.com, the National Religious Partnership Media and Radio. Join us right here on this platform every Saturday at 1 o'clock for Sports 365 with your host, Coach Ludlow Lodi B. Barker. He'll be your host of Sports 365 right here on NRPMediaJA.com every Saturday at 1 o'clock. Join him, participate, and be part of the sports discussion. It's going to be Sports 365 on NRPMediaJA.com. Coach Lutz will be leading the team of panelists, and of course, we'll be bringing you all the news and information that are happening right there in the world of sports. Sports 365 on NRPMediaJA.com. Reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is.
NRP Media and Radio.
The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations. Hi there, I'm Leon Nash, CEO of NRPMediaJA.com, and you are listening to NRPMediaJA.com.
Yes, that's where you are, right here on this station, you know. And of course, as I said before, we're going to be talking with someone coming through momentarily right here on this station as we speak about what's happening in our country and the world in terms of violence. So it's a violence prevention discussion that we hope to be having shortly, and I'll tell you who that brother is in just a while. We're going to get some music going for a minute or two, and so you can enjoy yourself and come back online. So you know your friends, call them back online. We are back online, and for those of you who are there, hey, stick and stay with us. Let's go and hear from this wonderful experience from a lady that is well known in gospel world, right? And here is that person.
Experience 16. It is a joy to be with you one more time. Pastor Paul Adafarasin and First Lady Fine, greetings in the name of Jesus. House on the Rock family, holy pa love me I send to you. Nigeria, me love no, me love no, me love no, me love no, me love no. Yes, yes, God. So right about now, the praise and worship is gonna hit you from the island of Jamaica and echo to you right through to Nigeria and the rest of the world. Run it! Hallelujah. Oh Lord, oh God. Jamaican style, oh Lord, oh God. Oh Baba, oh Baba, oh Lord, oh God. Yeah, so we do it like this, yeah. To God be the glory, great things He has done. Yeah, when you're ready, watch ya. Oh Lord, oh God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh Lord, oh God. Hallelujah. What I say? Oh Bawamba, oh Bawamba, oh Lord, oh God.
The sound of Cheryl Franklin for you know. The Experience 16 Global 2021. That's the song we're playing.
Up again, lift him up, lift him up, lift him up. Come on, wave your hands in the presence of the Lord. Yeah, let me say, oh Lord, to the hour, okay, bunny, ni mo fi up me fool. What you say now? Oh Lord, to the hour, okay, bunny, ni. Come on, wave those hands up me fool. Yes, Tani want to beg out, because she
it's a Friday night, you know. It's a Friday night.
What me say? Hey, so let me hear you say, whoa, whoa. I me say, yeah, yeah. I me say, whoa, say, yeah, say, whoa, yeah, yeah. Oh, what a Savior. Oh, what a Father. No one greater. Let's go. Jesus, you're amazing. Hey. Oh, what a Savior. Oh, what a Father. Where's the no one greater. Jesus, you're amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing.
Remember the number now. Remember the number to call me. 876-336-9928. 874-8162.
Good God, you're amazing.
876-874. Not that one. Let me go again. 876. I'll give it to you, right? It's 876-336-9928. 876-336-9928.
We blaze nations with our praise. Say you're the undefeated one. To whom all the
This is Leon Nash here on the Weekenz Gospel Show. Welcome, brothers and sisters from GGFM and the connecting partners. Bless up to you.
Jesus, you're the winner.
Caribbean Vibes right over there in Massachusetts. Good night to you. We're trying to make contact with our guests.
Jesus, you're amazing. Hey. Oh, what a Savior. Oh, what a Father. Say, oh, what a Father. Say, no one greater. Jesus, you're hey, hey. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Good God, you're amazing. Amazing, amazing. Oh, Lord, you're amazing. Promise keeping God. My El Shaddai. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Listen, you put the sun, the moon, the star, the sea in its place. La 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 la, Lord, you're amazing. Everything shall bow, every tongue confess that the mention of your name. La 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 la, Lord, you're amazing. To God, you know me life is the best thing, the best thing, the best thing. Me said to have you know me life is the best thing, the best thing, the best. What you say now, no. Hey, thank you for being my Father. No one greater. Jesus, you're amazing. Hey, 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 hey. Say, oh, what a Savior. Say, oh, what a Father. I'm missing no one. Hey, amazing. Good God. Hey, my helper, my deliverer, my comforter. Hey, now. Amazing. Mighty God. Take the glory for it all. Amazing. Oh, we love you. You are a good God. Faithful God. Amazing. Amazing. Hallelujah. Somebody right where you are, lift up your voice and begin to thank him for his faithfulness. Thank him for his kindness. Thank him for being a friend.
Where's the daddy?
Thank him for being a friend.
Salvation sweet, not
Thank
sure.
you.
Good God. The ancient priest again. Bum, bum, bida, bida. Salvation and the sweetest thing. When you are weird pan kumota say salvation and the sweetest thing. Yeah. Free of cost, no money to come in. Salvation and the sweetest thing. Come as you are, no rock can't come in. Salvation and the sweetest thing. Lord, yeah. With God by my side, say me well protected. With the Holy Spirit, me injected. The whole of me inside was infected. And everything bad, I go get ejected. Me now play no hopscotch.
By now you know.
You
By now you should guess. By now you should pick up
Did I try but
and know who I'm talking about right now. Salvation.
when you are wait on that's it. Salvation and the sweetest thing. Free of cost, no money to come in. Salvation and the sweetest thing. Come as you are now.
Call up your friends, send them the link. Send them the link for the station. Whether you're on GG, FM, 90.1 over there in Brownstown, all the connecting partners.
No sell out, just open up on it. You should have never indulged.
Let them know that the Weekend's Gospel Show is on right now.
This is a state of emergency.
Salvation.
When you are wait on come out, that's
What a rhythm on a Friday night. 24 minutes going up to the hour of 11.
salvation and the sweetest thing. Come as you are, no rock and come in. Salvation and the sweetest thing. Boy, good God. With Christ we are more than conqueror. With the word we are big old lecturer. Through me go through me test no demon bed. But tell them say don't come near ya. Watch me vanish ya 91. But she's skanking like she's 21. Young people step aside, make she gala. Step aside, make she gala.
Let me go to the phone lines now. 336-9928. 876-336-9928. That's the number for you to get me on a night like this. If you want to speak to my guest afterwards, then that's the number for you to call. 876-336-9928. Let me welcome my guest online. Hello, sir. Good night to you. How are you doing? Say that again. Say that again.
I am blessed and highly favored. How are you?
Good. I'm giving God thanks. Much better to know that you were able to make it on this side.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. We're talking to the man called Lee Priest. Used to go by the name Ancient, but he is fresh and new from the block. And we're glad and grateful that you could make it on over this side this evening to have a chat with us. Right, Lee?
Yes, sir.
Right. Who is Lee Priest one more time for those who don't know?
Well, Lee Priest is, formerly known as Ancient Priest. Gus Clark is from Mandeville, Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
One of them country boy, you know.
Yeah. We love the country, not just you. We love the country.
Yes.
And in terms of your singing ministry, tell us a little bit about when you started. What is it that influenced you to get into this kind of ministry, and when did it start?
Well, I tell you the truth, sir, Nash. I've known myself from as person who's from the idea of me.
Mm-hmm.
I
How far reach your head now?
Yeah, you reach my head, you know.
Yes.
I found myself singing because, and I was told the story that my grandma, when I was much younger, she used to boast that her grandson could sing. So she used to have me all the rallies and the concerts singing from when I was about 5, thereabout. And so when I started to realize what was happening,
yes,
you know, so I didn't have any much. I just basically grew into it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when I got real serious about 2010 when I entered the JCDC Gospel Festival.
2010.
In 2010.
Okay, that time it was the raw music.
Yes.
Man, no grease hasn't gone onto the sound yet. I remember back down there in Mandeville, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, when they started off, but now they can't test Priest. Because Priest is taking the stage by storm.
Yes, sir.
Amen. God brings you and He takes you and He washes you and He makes you into what He wants you to be.
He does.
And we give God thanks for that.
Every time.
Now, my brother, you would have recognized that in Jamaica here we are having a lot of things taking place, and chief among them is crime.
Yes, sir.
And we want to talk to you tonight about, as a young man, very young, person who has entered the music and the entertainment industry, gospel for that matter, how is it that you believe that, well, first of all, do you believe that gospel artists, has or have any effect or can have any effect on this whole monster of crime in Jamaica? Do you believe, first of all?
Yeah, I do believe, because the foundation for my belief is that music in itself
Yes.
has an effect on person's emotion,
Uh-huh.
and it motivates it can, for want of a better word, it can fuel decision, because music was created. Music is the only element on earth that was not created on earth. Music was created in heaven. And for persons who want to believe it or not, music is so influential that it doesn't need your consent to. It's very influential. It doesn't need your consent to navigate, to get into your brain, into your mind. No, it doesn't. Because and I have a lot of proof, because if you look on Bob Marley, I remember going to Africa, and when they found out that we were from Jamaica, they started to bow down and worship us. And they would say, "You're from the country of our God, Bob Marley." And there were some communities that they were under severe oppression, social oppression, political oppression. And when Bob Marley did that song that says, "Emancipate yourself from mental slavery," that song triggered mighty God. So that song, millions of miles away, triggered something in a group of people, and they called them exactly. And then they started a movement, and then the movement started to grow until persons started to look in themselves because of the words that were coming out of that song. Now words are important. Words are very, very, very powerful.
Yes.
Because, as you know, God said, "Let there be," and there was. The words are powerful. But
Yes.
words with music, because remember that,
Uh-huh.
that Lucifer, the chief musician in heaven, he was designed with music, all the tubes in his body. When I heard a philosopher talking, and he said that when he walked, you heard the three chords, you heard harmony coming out of him.
My
When
God.
he flew, you understand? So
Mhm.
God pays special attention with music. So when you fuse music and the word, you have a lethal weapon.
Yes.
So I believe, so back to the question that you asked me.
Yes.
I believe without a shadow of a doubt that we have been making impact, and we are able to continue making impact, because if you should talk to a lot of persons, some persons get saved based on a message, or from they put it a message. But a lot of persons get saved at a concert from a song.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of persons, they got real change just by listening to a song. I've heard testimonies from persons that were going to commit suicide, and a song was playing in the background,
Mm-hmm.
and it changed their mind.
Change your minds.
The influence of music, and when I start talking about this, I get so passionate.
Yes.
And because a lot of these secular artists, I hope I'm not getting ahead of myself. A lot of these secular artists, they tend to think that music is just entertainment, and music is just there as a medium of them earning. But it is much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I am glad I'm able to be a part of this discussion tonight, to let people know that music is a lethal weapon.
Is that what?
Lethal. It's very
Lethal.
lethal weapon. It's very lethal. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, man. It's deadly.
Lethal and deadly.
It is.
Those are some strong words that you're using there. So, but why then would anybody be involved in music if it's deadly and lethal, as you put it?
Because all right, watch this now.
Uh-huh.
If you are using music to inspire, to uplift, to educate,
Yes.
to bring the good news of Jesus Christ,
Mm-hmm.
that is that's the flip. That's the opposite of it being lethal.
Mm-hmm.
So it is such a useful tool that we can use to influence young people, to influence people all across the world.
Yes.
You understand? Because we're wrestling with the both side, the dark side and the side of the light. So that is why we need to be very careful.
Yes.
When it comes down to music. And I have been so caught up in music that I went back to school to study music. I went to the Northern Caribbean University where I did my degree in music. And when you do music history and when you're looking from medieval times, when music was just vocal and the priests and those persons that were in charge, they used to chant. And those chants used to invoke spirits. Those chants used to free persons from evil spirits. Because remember, when Saul was caught with a spirit, David plays harp, and he got delivered.
Yes.
So music is one of those tools that persons need to be careful how they use it.
Use it wisely.
Very, very much so, sir.
All right, we're coming back to you. We're talking to Lee Priest, gospel artist. We're talking about how is it that musicians can impact the whole monster of crime that is affecting Jamaica and generally speaking across the globe. We're going to be taking another few minutes from his song, Ancient Priest, Sweet Salvation, one more time.
Salvation and the sweetest thing. Yeah. Free of cost, no money to come in. Salvation and the sweetest thing. Come as you are, no rock can't come in. Salvation and the sweetest thing. Lord God. With God by my side, say me well protected. With the Holy Spirit, me injected. The whole of me inside was infected. And everything bad, I go get ejected. Me no play no hopscotch. Me no call a loop on me well hot. Temptation come, me resist not. Satan did a try, but me run down. Salvation and the sweetest thing. When you are wait on come out, that's it. Salvation and the sweetest thing. Free up.
You should acknowledge that salvation is the sweetest thing. I'm telling you, I've been there, done that. Still continuing. Yeah, man.
Believers who walk out. If you couldn't be a come out, that who
876-336-9928. Can you participate? Do you want to participate?
just open up and
Send me a voice note to that number or call me direct. 876-336-9928. 876-336-9928.
salvation and the sweetest thing. Free of cost, no money to come in. Salvation and the sweetest thing. Come as you are, no rock can't come in. Salvation and the sweetest thing. Boy, good God. With Christ we are more than conqueror. With the word we are big old lecturer. Through me go through me test no demon bed. But tell them say don't come near ya. Watch me vanish ya 91. But she's skanking like she's 21. Young people step aside, make she gala. Step aside, make she gala. Bam, bam. Bam, bam, bidam, bidam. Bam, bidam. Boy. Salvation and the sweetest thing is sweet. Salvation and the sweetest thing.
Yes, indeed, salvation is the sweetest thing. 1049 right here on your station. Welcome back, Lee Priest, Priest Lee, or Ancient Priest, whatever the name that he used to. He's Lee Priest. All right, so talk to me now in a serious way. How can musicians, gospel artists in particular, impact the whole matter of crime in Jamaica? What do they need to do?
All right. The first thing that I think that as gospel artists we need to do, and as music ministers, is we need to stop. We need to stop selling a product that we are not. I don't want to. Well, let me offend the person because the truth will cause offense.
Yes.
We need to start living what we are saying.
Mm-hmm.
And many of the times we we are looking at music as a job. And I believe a lot of persons out there, they're not seeing a reflection of what we're saying in our daily life.
Mm-hmm.
And also, one of the main things we need to do is to incorporate the word of God, not just nursery rhymes, not just popular sayings, not just what persons want to hear, but the word, the undiluted word of
Yes,
God.
sounds like a
We need
good
to
idea.
put it in the music.
Mm-hmm.
We need to tell persons, and I realize that we like to prophesy, songs and tell persons that they're going to be blessed and that they're going to come out and that they're going to, well, which is good. But we are not singing about the judgment that is to come. We're not telling persons that when you make wrong decisions, you will end up on the wrong side of the fence. So we need to use this tool that we have to inform persons, to educate them, to warn them of the judgment that is to come, and that is one of the first that we need to do. And we need to stop dabbling because
Yes.
we are dabbling a lot with secular, because I realize that a lot of us as artists, we take a secular song
Mm-hmm.
and we just change
Okay.
the rhythm is
And
the
the
same.
rhythm too.
The rhythm is the same, the tune is the same, and we just jump on it and just, so there's no impact. There's no impact. The song don't. I don't think your song can be influential when you approach it like that. You understand? So, and we need to start taking some invitations to some of these volatile communities and some of these places, and stop dropping some of these dates because of money. Many of the times we get called to some of these small events and we don't go because the promoter don't have the money. But
Yes.
they're in a place where you can reach some of these youth. So we don't get a chance to reach your youth because there's no big money. You understand? We're on the big stage where it's mostly Christians come to those big
Take
concerts.
it one day at a time.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to get into the communities, get into the street, get into the garrisons, the ghettos, and preach through our music.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that. And therefore, you spoke about some things that the musicians, the singers can do in terms of impacting violence in our country. We know that once you are a gospel artist, there are certain things that you do not necessarily subscribe to, right? And therefore, we're not saying that you should do otherwise. But here's what I'm looking at.
Yes, sir.
In terms of the content of songs that are produced and presented, can these impact in any way the whatever is taking place in our country? Just recently, we had 4 persons being murdered by an alleged family member. Then the next week from that, there were 2 persons who were killed or injured in some way over there in another place. What would you encourage singers to do in terms of what they are writing and presenting for as a song?
Yes, and as I said before, it comes back to the relationship that we have with God. Because I think singers, they're just scratching the surface with some of these songs. I am not patting myself on the shoulder as a big songwriter, but when I listen to some of these songs, I realize that it is just nursery. It's just about telling God thanks and giving God praise. There is no deep conviction. There is no real message in the song. Many of these songs, it's just a hook.
Yes.
It's a feel good. There is no message coming out through. So we need to get back to and that is why a lot of persons might. That is why I got the name Ancient Priest.
Yes.
Because I believe in the old time religion songs. Because when you listen to some of these old songs, when you listen to the message, you understand. Once I was deep in sin, so these songs, they carried a deep message. With that when the listener hears these messages, it must bring conviction rather than just a feel good vibe and just rock and there is no conviction, no change. So as singers, what we need to do is start going back to the drawing board and find songs that will convey a message of redemption.
But other
A
than
message-
finding the songs, persons tend to these days write.
Mhm.
And for those who can write, encourage them how to treat with the matter of violence in their songs.
Yeah, and we need to address certain things that is happening as it relates to violence. Because when you look at secular is lauding violence. Bust a man's skull, go down the road and flash out and bust a man's head and the man and flash out on the wall. So we need to
And that doing that, they will be able to influence and impact
that exactly.
the of violence across the country.
It will.